I just saw a video where a young woman had the caption with tears in her eyes that said, "Maybe in a different universe, I am not my mother's biggest regret." I'm using this black and white filter to speak to the little girl in every grown woman, to send you back in time as that little girl, feeling emotions that you had absolutely no control over, only to grab your hand and move you through to the grown woman you are now, who gets to make decisions about who you are and not just accept the influence you were under as a child. First of all anybody needs is a uterus to carry a child, a healthy uterus, with the help of a sperm, and nowadays they don't even need that. But that's all they need. That does not mean that they were equipped to nurture you in ways that prevented any harm to come to you or prevented any circumstances for you to learn lessons through. Okay? They did things that hurt. Every feeling and emotion that you felt was valid. For a whole lot of us, the part that hurts the most is there was no accountability for that. The hurt continues, the painful things they've said continued, and then the denial for a lot have come up, and that's why there's no accountability, because they just deny it ever even happened. You know it happened. They deny the shit, and the older they get, then you're supposed to just forget it, forgive it, and keep on going and act like it didn't happen, even if it's still happening and they're up in their 80s and you're in your 50s. I get it. That shit happened and it hurt. The little girl in you can still feel every single piece of every hurtful thing she ever said to you, did to you, and then denied ever doing it or justified it. That shit hurt. It is painful. But grown woman, hold on, because I'm coming to get you. I'm extending my hand, baby, grab it. We got somewhere to go. She had a uterus. Somebody provided the sperm. They did the only thing you needed from them, baby, and that is to get you here. So it don't matter how you got here, neither who provided the uterus to carry you here. What matters, baby, is that you are now here. And now your responsibility is to self, not anybody else. You owe her nothing. Now, let's bring you up to date in today's time to the grown woman you, live and in color. You have one job, baby. Find the purpose in the pain and transmute it. I am not talking to you about theory. I'm talking to you about actual experience. I know what that's like. And I love that person who carried me. I do, you can't help but. Everything in you wants the absolute acceptance from the person who carried you and you spent the most time with. I get it. Even if that's not the case, the person who you have expectations from because of the role that society has told you they are supposed to play in your life. And when they don't play that role, the pain that comes as a result of that, I want to make sure you heard me, because that is the source of your suffering more than the pain that you felt going through it, and the pain that you continue to feel because of that additions and the buildup. Because every time it happens, then it's like reopening that wound. So that wound never quite gets to heal, right? So I need you to tweak that perspective. First of all, the pain and the suffering as a result of the initial pain is not because of what happened in that moment. The pain is because of your perspective about the person who holds the role. It is the role and the expectations from the role that's causing you that much pain. Now we have to shift that to society, because those are societal expectations that have been placed. How'd that happen? Well, family and the roles thereby are social constructs. We have expectations from people based on social constructs. When you tweak your perspective about the expectation from the role and see the person for who they are and their flaws and their inabilities, because just because somebody carries you does not mean that they know what is best for you, especially when they're working through their own shit and haven't figured out what is best for them. You see, this is why I focus so much on those two different identities, the only ones that mean anything. People talk about a whole bunch of different identities, and I am breaking this thing down for you. There are only two that matter. Are you ready? One is what you have been programmed with. We've all been programmed. All we are computers. Once you're birthed into this earthen realm, then we are being programmed for what is expected of us. Okay? So the social programming has told you who you are and what to expect from everything and everybody, and how to view everything in our world. So your perspective has come from your social conditioning. Social conditioning is likened to human consciousness. We keep talking about being a human being and always being and what each human is being, and put so much emphasis on what each human is being and doing, and how what they do and be affects us, that we completely miss out and never cultivate and don't even acknowledge something that means even more. Ready for that? Before I go into that, let me take you back to that little girl who, since the moment she was born into this earthen plane, has been depending on those around her to teach her who she is and how she is to be. I want you to understand that that is the case for the person who carried you, the person you have these expectations from. She felt the same way, needed the same things, and the fact that you are feeling like you were not wanted and were in some other universe, then you wouldn't be her biggest regret, whether she's ever said that to you or not, but you felt it. You are going to have to release this person from giving you something that nobody but you can give you. And there's a way you get to do it. Now, let's go back to your grown woman, because I needed to go back and pacify the little girl, and also let the little girl know that she can release her mother, who is in no position to give her what she needs. I know you need it, but you get to give this to yourself. Your mother will never be able to give it to you, neither is she supposed to. You ready? This is going to be quick, but you are going to need to go and dig much further, okay? There is human consciousness, which is where you've been focused unintentionally by default since you got here. And there is divine consciousness. Baby, this has all been about remembering who you are and returning you back to self. The moment you return back to self, you won't give a rat's ass what your mama, your daddy, her mama, his daddy, nobody says about you, what they believe about you, what they think about you. You won't give a rat's ass. I promise you. It's time to tweak your perspective, remove the suffering, free yourself for the rest of your life by focusing on your divine consciousness, your divine self, because that's all that matters.